We're live. I love how it says the broadcast is live.
I know.
Hey, we're live. We're not dead. We're alive.
Yes, we are. I love it.
I love it. Love it. Love it. So welcome to another Sandy and Friends. We have a great show planned today, and we planned it for such a long time ahead. We just get together and okay, what are we going to talk about today? And voila, there it is. But I did want to start by talking about this is the first week in March. So March 5th is my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Dwight. Also, this is when we start our contest for the month of March. And I thought since this is the first month we're doing this, we would use the one that would help us get more visibility. So at the end, so every time, and we'll go back to March 1st to see, but if every time you like this podcast, every time you like us, every time you share what we're talking about, or we comment, or you comment, whether it's while we're live or later between broadcasts, doesn't matter. We'll go back and check all of them. So you're going to get 1 point for liking. Should we give 2 points if they love it? There's Leroy, first point. Yay, Leroy. Yay. So 1 point if you like it, 2 points if you love it or higher, 3 points if you comment. And I'm going to skip a number, and then 5 points if you share it. So make sure you're sharing it, and try sharing it to places where people might not know about it. So if you're in a group, share it to another group besides our group. If you have your own page, your own Facebook author page, there's Vola, number 2. So make sure you try to, get the word out there. And Vola, I expect you to be right up there, either winning or right there next to you.
Wait a minute. Me and Fern count because we share the hell out of it. So do we get to play?
I don't think we count because we're part of the show, Aimee.
I know, but I'm just saying.
What would you do? Would you give yourself a mug?
Yes.
Well, if y'all get to play, guess what? I get to play. And I'm retired and have lots of time on my hand.
I love it.
No. We cannot be part of any contest we sponsor because we are, we're the principals, people. We're the principals.
Man.
You're the host.
I know, but we do all this fun stuff and I'm a part of it and I never get to win crap. It's just like, man. No, I'm just playing.
We have Greg has already liked it also. So yay. So we're on a roll, but we are going to go back to March 1st. So Aimee, if you can help me with that, we'll go back and count it. Vola, if you can help me, that'd be wonderful. I did want to say to Vola, this week, and Aimee, I'll be sending you some email about it as soon as I get a break. This being retired is really catching up with me. Somebody that Vola, on the thing where Vola says to them, they request us to like their page. And Vola says, yes, we'll like your page, but we'd also like you to like our page. Okay, well, that person, the company is Magano or Magano Marketing. And they came back and said, Sandy, yes, we will definitely like your page. And can you get in touch with us? Because we want to talk to you about doing some projects together or, whatever. So I had a call with her this morning and she's recently married. And so I can't wait. She said, schedule a Zoom call. So we're going to do that for this next week.
Sandy, I don't think you know what the word retired. What do you mean?
Well, you know what? I think this is like all my friends coming out of the woodwork here.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It was like retired my fanny. Retired.
Well, what I'm doing is, however, in my retirement defense, I am introducing them to Aimee, and I'm saying Aimee has the business now. She's the one you'll be working with.
No, I think you just need to retire the word retired. Go back to using. I've shifted gears, and I'm doing.
Well, you said that the whole time, Fern. You've always said you're not retiring. You're just shifting gears.
She's Aimee's number one salesperson. That's what she is. She says,
yes, I have become Aimee's salesperson. So
she's my number one salesperson. She's very good at it.
And once I introduce them to Aimee, I go on to the next person. So
that is a wonderful example of friendship, of how we are supporting each other and building each other as friends. So I think it's wonderful. I just think you just need to remove the word retired from your vocabulary.
Yeah.
And that is why before I can say the word anymore, that's why I retired, was not have time to spend with friends. I can't help it that the friends that are coming out in the woodwork are ones that want to work with us. And so I'm referring them to Aimee. And I'm telling them that she's a millennial. She's got all these new ideas and these new bundles. So yes, I'm having a great time actually.
Yeah.
So
well, Aimee, so yeah.
So that's great. So those are if you have any questions about how to win points, remember we're going to be giving away, the shares just went up from 3 to 7. So is that you, Aimee, or your?
No, it's me. It's the person that doesn't get to win. It's that person.
So we'll be counting everything. We'll give you an update throughout the week of if somebody's winning. And then we'll report every Friday. And then the last Friday of the month, we will give away or maybe we give it away the first week in April. So we count the last 2 days in March. Anyway, we'll figure all that out. That's all details that we're not going to talk about anymore today, because I want to now talk about
friendship.
Yes, friendship. But what were we talking about earlier, Fern, about friendship?
Well, I was saying that I really wanted to share about the book that I recently finished.
Yes.
And so Joanna Jordan, one of my really great friends, my VP at the company, shared with me The Rhythmatist by Brandon
She loves Brandon Sanderson. She loves him.
Yeah. And I hadn't really read anything by him. So I was like, okay, well, this is cool. And it's very much a fantasy, kind of a dystopian future, weird kind of situation happened in America because now we're islands instead of a country. I don't know. But the coolest part about this book is that as I was reading, I was thinking about our podcast, because it's really about these two students that are, kind of, they don't fit in, right? Neither one of them really truly fits in. They get connected to this professor who is kind of also a little bit of an oddball, but they form this friendship that really is the catalyst for the overcoming of the whole book. In the whole book, it's because of their friendship and their working together that they overcome. And even at the very end, like the big tournament that they have to face, they face it together. And because they work as a team, they succeed. And I just love how he did this really well. Of both of them are strong people, but they have those weak spots, and they shore up each other's weak spots. And I thought that's really friendship right there. When you have friends around you that step in and help you in those moments where you're a little bit weak in the things that you really need that extra help, and they step up and they help you, and together as friends, you just go so much further, so I just loved it. I thought I just definitely wanted to share it because.
And I think I love that. I love that story. That's beautiful. And how, when we think about having that in our own life, it's like, how can we support, our friends? So if we have a friend that's, it's just different. Being able to have friends that and support each other. So I like it that I love that story. I think that's a great story. And when you told it earlier, it reminded me of when I was in high school, and in order to be popular in high school, you had to be good at PE or something. And I wasn't. And after my first couple of times of playing softball and standing out in the field and seeing the ball coming and then ducking just as it got close to me, they didn't want me on the softball team after that. It's like, oh no, you can't even catch the ball out in the field. So I started looking for other friends besides the people, those people. And I noticed this one girl who, she always had great answers to questions and stuff in the classroom, but she always sat by herself and she just, I don't know, she just seemed not happy. And so I started, kind of being a friend to her. Didn't know it at the time. I had no idea about this at the time. Just looking back, I started going to sit with her at lunch when she was sitting by herself, and actually then started. I invited her over to my house one day because I lived close enough to just about walk, and we just got to be the best friends. And so later, looking back on my life and once I started understanding more about who I am and loving myself and all of that, and I remembered her, and I remember thinking, wow, how different would my life have been if I had not done that? Because that would have been a real missing in my life that I didn't even know. I wouldn't have known it was a missing because I would never have paid any attention to it to start with. So I'm like, where are there other people? And even now today, where are there people that we might avoid because they're not the most popular, or they're not the prettiest, or they're not the whatever? And what are we missing when we don't, go out of our way to be a friend to people? So I love that story, Fern. That really did start me thinking about all that, about loving people and being a friend and all that. So
that's a very good thing to think about, is how many really potentially great relationships, friendships, work partnerships, love relationships, how many of them have we missed out on just because, maybe we didn't initially give that person a chance because something, and the society has these standards that, they superimpose on us, and we need to stop thinking within the traditional societal stuff. We need to just just get to know people, and give people a chance, because I know I have like some amazing friends, and if you judge people just on the first impression, sometimes that's not the best judgment, because sometimes people don't put their best foot forward in that first moment, you do have to give people a chance.
Well, because a lot of your friends and a lot of my friends are authors. And so sometimes the authors can be like, beating the drum to their own music, or whatever that saying is, because they're just not quite in the whole. I mean, some of them now, of course, there's some that are, but so I guess in any field, really. So I'm thinking about my husband and his IT friends. So yep, there's some different ones there. So Aimee, as a millennial, what do you think about all this? Or even if it's not a millennial, just what do you think about it?
I don't know. I mean, I agree with everything. I mean, I think it's more, I don't know. I mean, I was the girl in high school. I mean, people talked to me, people liked me, people didn't like me. It was just, whatever. I had a lot of guy friends. I got along better with guys than girls. Girls are they were too catty for me, especially in high school. I don't have time for that. But I mean, it's like, I don't know. I think it's something I prefer. I prefer to make friends now than like in high school, when all the hormones are going on and like girls can just be mean. People in general are just mean, So I feel like now, like when you're older and stuff, you kind of can get a better sense of it. You can kind of get a better feel of, the impact that you can make on somebody's life. Because you've been there, right? We've all been there. We've all been the person no one wanted to be friends with. We've all been the person that had a bunch of friends, but still was super lonely, and they weren't like loyal friends. They were just popular, So I feel like when you get older and stuff, you can kind of sympathize and understand and judge things better, I guess.
So how long were you? Go ahead, Fern. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I just agree that, now that I'm older, like I really don't have any friends. A lot of people will say that they're still friends with like someone they knew in high school or in college. I didn't have friends back then. I mean, I was a bookworm and a steady person. I just went to school and studied. And then I went home. I didn't really party or have, too many social things. But now, as a grown person, I have a lot of friends and I have things I do that I enjoy, like the shuffleboard thing that, some friends are always teasing me about. And, it's
some friends. We all know there's some friends.
Y'all know who it is.
Remember, I changed my mind completely once I realized you weren't out there in
the show. Wow. What is that?
Don't tell me Fern is not old.
That's called curling, isn't it? Like where you have the little like disc thing and you're like, I don't know, polishing the ice, and isn't that curling? I don't know. I know what you were talking about, Sandy. I thought that at first too, and then she showed the little weights. I was like, oh, you slide those. Okay, I got it. I got it. We're figuring it out.
It's a really cool sport. Very, I wish more people would learn about it because it's really fun. It's like,
is it really a sport or is it like a hobby? Is it like classified as a sport? Like I'm not trying to be rude. I really just don't know.
No, it's an official sport, and I know because ESPN like aired like the championship or something. I don't know the levels of the sport, but so and so the president of our league, I had just gotten my brand new weights, and he was going to be at that championship, and he like begged me to lend him my weights, and so I did, and that was really unlike me because I'm not good at sharing.
No.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I probably never would, I didn't think of that, is because I don't know, do you play it anywhere that's not in a bar?
No, it's definitely in a bar.
That's what I thought. Okay. So, I mean, it's not that I don't go in bars or anything like that. I totally do, but when I first, that's why I would think it wouldn't be the most popular with everybody, because some people don't. So, and kids, young people, don't go in there. So anyway, yeah. I do think it's a great thing. I'm glad to know you're having fun and not bored, because I thought the other one was the one, and I really apologize if you're one of the people that loves the kind that are like in a hotel kind of parking lot and stuff, where you have this long poles and you have this thing drawn out on the concrete. Oh, and shuffle. Yeah. And so
cruise ships now, but I think the cruise ship one is like on the ground.
I think yeah.
But what I'm talking about is table shuffleboard. So basically you have these long, like 22-foot long, very narrow tables. And you sand them with some like wax, like little wax beads. And you take the weights.
It does make it slippery too. Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, yeah, because you don't want it to rub against with the friction of the wood, right? So you take the weight and you throw it down the table, try to score and try to knock off your opponent's weights. But
if you go sailing off the end of the table, you don't win anything.
You don't get nothing. Yeah.
That was always my problem.
It's like bowling, yes, like bowling.
Yeah.
And on a table, and basically, like the whole point is try to get either knock off all your opponent's weights, or make sure that the last weights that you throw are ahead of your opponents, because wherever there's an opponent weight, anything behind that no longer scores. Anything ahead scores. So it's basically, it's really not as easy as one might think when you.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Definitely.
Mm-mm.
It is fun though. It is fun though, because, and I'm just, especially right after they wax it, and I would knock mine and everybody else's off the table. So, and my partners even.
Yeah. Sometimes
they don't really want you to be their partner when you just knock them off the table with everybody else. So I hear you. It is a lot of fun.
I tell you, talking about friendship, one of the coolest moments was when they started inviting me to like tournaments, because I was like, oh, I must be getting good, I must be getting good enough to like, show in public as she's one of our teammates, right? And then when I when I asked one of my team members if he would play with me in this tournament coming up, and he said yes, I was like, okay, I must be pretty good because he's really good and he wouldn't play with somebody who totally was dreadful, right? So it's kind of like I'm beginning to like feel a little more confident as
Yeah.
that team and as friends. It's funny how like this season we chat so much more. Like the first season, the team was very new to each other for the most part, and so there was a lot of silent moments. But like this season, we're really chatting, and kind of just really more relaxed with each other, and because we're beginning to build that foundation of friendship, So it's kind of interesting, but yeah, I'm having a blast.
I think that's awesome. I love that. I'm glad that you're having a blast like that. So anybody you do with friends when you guys get together with other people, other couples, or you get together with other women or whatever?
This is going to come as a huge shock for you guys, but you guys are my friends. I know, you guys. This is what I do. This is it right here. I talk with you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I grew up with my sisters. I have 3 older sisters, so they were like my friends. And then, me and Joshua got married and we moved to Houston. And so then you became my BFF, my friend. And then, we moved to Bryan, and I don't know, I talk to everybody virtually. So I feel like I have all of these friends, everybody in Through the Eyes of Authors, the Houston Writers Guild, Authorology, Fern and Sandy, and then Brian Bearden. I'm like his #1 fan, Roger Leslie. I feel like I have all of these friends, virtually. And so I virtually hang out with all of my friends weekly.
I love that. Thank you, Aimee. I think that was so. I love being friends with Aimee. She and I, right? We have been friends for a long time, and got to know each other even more the more she worked. And then when we went through Harvey and all the things she did. And so Aimee's been a great friend of mine, and I just adore her. And then Fern and I, because we met working with authors and in the guild, when I helped out that one time, I had a table. Rita Mills and I shared a table at one of the conferences and got to know you, and then just loved you. And then we've met throughout all the time. So yeah, I love making friends, love making new friends, love hanging out with old friends.
Once you know Aimee, you love Aimee. I mean, you do not love Aimee.
You gotta get to know me, though. My exterior is rough. Okay, I don't talk much.
And Aimee, I was going to tell you about that. You just mentioned about having male friends, and I know that Josh was one of your close friends before you guys got married. I watched again because I was going through YouTube, and I watched again. You know what I'm going to say, right?
Yeah.
The video. Oh my God, Fern, have you seen the video of him proposing?
No. Oh my goodness. There's a video of the proposal?
One little misstep and there would have been no Aimee or no Josh because they were on
she's exaggerating. We weren't that close to the cliff.
I remembered it. I looked last night. I'm like, Aimee, no, don't get on that side. Don't get on that side because we're over the edge. Oh,
not that close. But no, I hate / love that video at the same time because you guys, background story. Joshua was irritating the living hell out of me that day. Okay, he made me climb. I had to climb like down these like steep rocks over like trees. I mean, we were really climbing some stuff. Okay, we were like in a valley. It was weird. And I had like fallen, so I was irritated. He like kept walking. He was like ahead of everybody. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I just felt like I'm going to help me up. And I was so irritated with him. And so he was like, Aimee, look at this waterfall. And it was like a drizzle. Okay. It was like a little drizzle, you guys. It wasn't like a gushing waterfall.
From a long way up.
Anyway, so I have to hike to this waterfall, and I'm looking at it, and I'm so irritated with him. So then I turn around, and he's down on one knee, and the first thing out of my mouth is, oh, it's just, I can't even say it, but it's like, the S word that ends with a T. And that's the first thing out of my mouth when he's like down on one knee, and I so regret that. Like, I don't regret the proposal or anything, but like the first thing out of my mind were those words. I was like,
no, I thought that was adorable that you said.
It's recorded, and I'm just like, I'm never gonna live this down ever.
No, you won't.
I won't. I will never live it down.
But neither will you live down that you were so the waterfall, no matter how much of a drizzle it was coming from way up in the air, and they're at the top of it, over the waterfall, not under it, not down where most people go back behind the waterfall. No, they got to go up on top of it. And it's narrow little ledge.
It wasn't. It was pretty big. My sister and her fiance were recording the thing, and they had enough.
But they were not on the same level. They were back up some. I could see them.
It sounds like Sandy really thought you were about to go over.
I thought I was going to hit the bucket for sure.
Even though I know she didn't.
You know what though? I mean, you really love this man. Because if you had to struggle that much during the whole hike and you still said yes, you really love it.
I know. He literally is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna, I'll definitely die with this man. As much as this boy irritates me, at the end of the day, I still love this man. And he was
your best friend, you said, during college. And everything, so.
He is my BFF. I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys rank higher, but he is my BFF. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that fun little tidbit out there. So.
But what's interesting about, talk about college friends and different, it just kind of brings to mind the idea that, there's seasons in your life.
There is.
There's friends that are there for that season that maybe don't stick around. And then, a new season opens and you have new friends. And I'm thinking about Aimee, like, you've got babies now. You have babies. So, you're probably going to make some friends in this season of growing your babies that are going to be other moms growing their babies.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking,
You guys know me, right? Like, I'm not a social being. Like, this is very good. If there was mommy groups that met virtually like this, I'd be down. But
I'm sure there are. I'm sure
they want to like meet in person and stuff, and I don't want to do that.
Well, I think they want to meet in person so that kids can have play dates, Aimee.
I know. I was going to think.
Like they put in these little mom groups because, girl, okay, I joined mom groups when I first moved to Bryant, because it's a new city, and I was going to have, I had Meadow here, and when we had just moved here, and so I joined like different ones to connect with. Because that man of mine was like, you need to have mommy friend, all this stuff, right? So I did it so he would shut up, but I joined all of these, and they're like, hey, have your husband watch the kids. Let's go get a drink and do all this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Do you know my husband? My kids will be jumping off the playground in the backyard, and next thing I know, I'm going to the ER to pick them up. No, I don't want to do that. I'm good. We can meet online. I'll pour a glass of wine and talk to you. It's just like the in-person thing, It's like
Was this before COVID? Like, are you just anti in-person events?
No. You met me at in-person events, Fern.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You're like awesome. Okay. So truth be told, the in-person events we've been at have been like Comic-Cons, and those are pretty fun.
And Nerd Fest, don't forget.
Yeah. Those are fun events, and book festivals and stuff. Those are fun events.
Yeah.
And that's most of the ones we've gone to. Mm-hmm. Even when Aimee and I went to one where Tony Harris, who's another friend of mine, but we got it was Tony. We got all of our Facebook friends to get together in person. Yeah. And then we met each other. It was like a speed networking to get to know each other. And Aimee was there with me. So, you got to know a lot of people in a very short period of time. But these were all people that Tony and I had met on Facebook that had never met in person, or some of them had, but not many of them. And so Aimee was like the life of the party, but she had a good time, right? I mean, it was.
Yeah, but okay, Sandy's forgetting a little fun fact. Okay.
No,
I had 2 glasses of wine, that made me a fun time. Okay. Like sober Aimee that doesn't have anything is like a hermit. Okay. Like I'll talk to you if I feel comfortable, but if I'm like around brand new people and I'm not sitting by Sandy, you know, then you gotta either I need a glass of wine to get me talking, or you gotta pull information out of me. Not like here. Like here, it's like, woo, I'm an open book online, 100%. And
well, but here also you're between us. You're with us. So I mean, you know,
yeah,
well,
but there's
I
like
can handle that because I mean I'm like that. I'm like that. I mean, you know, most people when I tell most people that I'm an introvert and that I actually do not like to socialize, you know, that they're looking at me like, oh no, you're not, Fern. You're so outgoing. You're so friendly. Oh, you're so nice. You don't know the real Fern. Okay, the real Fern would like nothing better than to stay in her little hermity space and just, you know. But you just put on your outdoor persona.
I know. But there's just something different about it because it's like my personality doesn't mesh well with everybody. Like I'm very loud, and like when I get excited about something, I talk really loud. I like use my hands. I'm like,
that's why we like each other.
yeah, like I'm very animated and like I'll joke around and stuff, but you can tell that I'm joking, you know, by my tone or my body language. And not everybody receives that well. Like not everybody wants the friend that when they're super excited or whatever, they get really loud. And so it's just like I just
you don't need those people in your life.
That's why I just stay reserved because you never know how you're going to be like taken on by like someone else or like if you've offended them because it's just, you know, some people are more sensitive than others and you're like, oh, well, this is just a joke to me. I didn't mean that, you know, and then it causes like whole like conflict. So I just stay reserved. And then when I feel like you can handle my personality, then it's like, well, bam, it comes out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's just how it goes.
I think we have our first official viewer on YouTube.
Oh, good.
I think we do, right? Don't we?
So I'm not on YouTube.
Now we're live. Now we're live on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
and we're on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And I think we just have our first like live viewer on there because he just texted me. That's how I know.
Yeah, I was like, I don't see nothing. Okay, I'm going with you, Fern. I'm going with you.
Awesome.
Very good. Very good. I did. Now, how do you know that, Fern? Where do you see a live?
Well, I know because he texted me, so I know he's watching.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. I don't have
I love it.
I am not gifted like Aimee to be able to toggle between like I'm live here and then be looking over here and then looking over here.
I know, you guys. I have like you guys should see the amount of tabs I have open on my thing, and then I have you guys in my side window and my split screen. I'm just like doing all these things.
You guys, I've been putting together the Eventbrite for our Houston Writers Guild coming up conference, and I've got a gazillion tabs, and I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
Where did I put that? Where did I put that? Like
the tab's pretty open. Darn it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But you know how to manage well, but you mentioned this the other day about like being able to have the Facebook open, but not have the volume on it.
Yeah.
You showed me how to do that because it was always like a big conflict because whenever I opened it, it was talking and then I'm here and then it's just like a mess.
And I do have to be careful still with YouTube because YouTube will do that. So
it definitely is complicated. But I mean, I don't know. I do have a question for you guys. So like Fern had mentioned, you know, like in seasons and stuff, because I know that we're running like out of time. And if Russell was here, we would all be like,
we're not running out of time. We are like over. So go ahead.
I know. One question. We can answer it next time or whatever. It's like how Fern had said, you know, you go through seasons of life and by that brings on seasons of friends. So, you know, not all seasons of friendships end well. So how do you guys deal with that? You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes you can feel like, oh, this is like, you know, really good friend, and then it ends. And then you realize that it really wasn't that good of like a friendship and it really wasn't the value that you put on it. You know what I'm saying? So how do you internally like deal with that where it doesn't make you feel like nervous to make other friends? You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a great topic. And I think what we should do, because, you know, we could spend another half hour talking about that.
So much trouble.
I think what we should do is just ask our audience to chime in between now and next Friday.
Yes.
You know, post your thoughts on, you know, how do you transition, right, from one friendship to another? How do you deal with friendships that don't end that well, and how do you process them? And then we could like look at some of their comments, you know, and then we can talk about that for our next show. Because I mean, I definitely always have believed that how you end something, you know, how you leave something is the energy you're taking into the next.
Yeah, me too.
So,
And I agree with you. That is a great thing. So Aimee, if you would put that question on Facebook, I'll put it in LinkedIn, and Fern, if you'll put it in YouTube, and just say, how do you handle a friendship that ends? Either it ends well or it doesn't end well, but how do you handle? And for me, a lot of times I'll realize, oh, I haven't seen this person for a while, and I don't know, did anything happen? For example, I could read into it about Brian Bearden. You mentioned Brian earlier. I haven't seen Brian in so long. It's like, but I have to stop and realize about COVID. But still, it's like I could start saying, okay, Brian, you know, Brian and I are not friends anymore, or Brian's mad at me about something or whatever. I don't believe that. I'm just using that as an example. But I would like to make sure I stay friends with him, you know. And so how do I handle that? And so, Brian, I hope you don't mind me using you as a person, as an example. So, but Brian has other friends, you know, so let's just all comment on friendship and what if it ends, and how do you handle it, and how do you stay friends?
And some friendships, you know, like I just thought about Andrea Sanchez and I mean, we were such close friends while we were teaching together at Annunciation. And then life sort of separated, as you know, she got married, she had babies. And but then when we met up again, you know, I mean, because we were always in touch, you know, vaguely, but when we like got connected again, we just connected like nothing. Like we just picked up like, oh, it was like yesterday. That
And those were the good friendships where like time can go by and it doesn't really like affect your relationship. And sometimes like moves or whatever kind of bring to light the true, no, I don't want to say like true intentions, because that's labeling something that I don't want to do. But it kind of brings to light what their outlook of like the friendship, the value they put on it. You know what I'm saying? You guys, I'm not good with words. Okay. I'm not a writer. I'm sorry. I'm not very good with words, but it brings, I guess, the forefront of what they wanted to get out of it.
Well, and I think it has to do with what connected you in the first place.
Yeah, it's almost like it was like one-sided.
I think do a whole show on this, because I'm thinking about all my friends that I'm still in contact with from when I was teaching. You know, we're not the way we were when we were all in the same building teaching, and yet we're still connected. And if we suddenly found ourselves in the same space together, we'd probably pick up like nothing. This is a great topic. Let's have
a great topic. So
yeah. Right.
So we will be discussing the results next week. Also, we'll put some reminders in about, you know, the point system for this month. And Aimee, if you could post a picture of one of your tumblers and mug at some point, so we could just say that's what the winner's going to get. So that would be great. This has been a great day. You know, I was thinking as we were talking, when we came on today, you asked me, Fern, what are we talking about today? And never would we have guessed that we would have talked about some of the things. It was just like our conversation, you know, was going in different directions. And I think that's just amazing that we don't have to have a structure, an outline. Our conversations, we're friends, and we can just chat. And that's what this podcast is all about, friends chatting with friends. So join us. If you have a topic you think would be a great topic for us to discuss, put that in the comment section. But we'll see you next Friday afternoon again at 1 p.m. Central. So thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.